Good morning, everyone.
Hey.
Another bright day on the sunny Isle of Wight. Michael Coyle and myself, Mark Reed, are sat here and we were just having a discussion. And we noticed that on our windows that look out into, it's a square called St Thomas's Square in Newport, there's a nice little picture of a logo that we're pushing out to the world. And it says Lawdit Solicitors. And then there's one next to it that says Lawdit Music. So Michael said, I know, Mark, why don't we have a little discussion about Lawdit Music so we can explain to the listeners what it is that we're offering and what we do. And I said, great, let's press record. So here we are, Michael, good morning.
Hiya. So I was thinking of you and music today because obviously the news about the festival going ahead, the Isle of Wight Festival.
Great festival.
It is a great festival. What was your first festival that you went to see on the island?
I went to the Isle of Wight Festival, I think it was in 2004, and I listened and watched, shall I say, David Bowie. Wow, that was an experience and a half, because it was the first thing I'd ever done of that sort of size. And I've been every year since. And in actual fact, as the years went...
2004 was that? So you've not missed one since then?
No, every single year I've gone. Every single year.
My first one was 2012. And I think I've missed two.
Did you not see McCartney? Wasn't he in 2011, was he?
It's a bit this is a bit heresy. But I didn't watch McCartney.
What?
I know. I think I went to see Tom Jones. I wanted a sing-along. Well, how can I have a sing-along with Hey Jude? But I thought Macca... no, not for me. I know it's heresy.
It is, because I know how much a bigger Beatles fan you are, and you like Wings as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we need to move on from this discussion, folks. So, So, anyway, where were we? Right, I actually remember the festival was one of the first times when I was able to stand there from a legal standpoint and in the middle of a field, perfectly sober, and looking round in circles going... How on earth, legally, did they put all of this together? What does it entail? Who is it that fronts all this from a legal perspective, a legal standpoint? And in actual fact, only a matter of years later, I then met this great man, Mr. Coyle, although I think we're going to have a falling out after those Macca comments. And you actually introduced me to Lawdit Music, didn't you?
Yeah, well, as you can see from the vlogs that we've done, it was a labour of love, really. I'm from Manchester, and all I really care about was Manchester United and music, and that's the only thing I was really bothered about as a kid. And whilst the form is pretty much out the window, I can't be bothered now. The latter, the love of music, is never more so than ever. It gets me about the day. If I don't have music in my life, it makes me feel ill. So it's useful to have your career connected to something which you love.
So what does that even mean then? How can your career as a lawyer, as a solicitor, advocate, how does that suddenly go right? I'm going to also specialise in the music aspect.
Well, I think there's such a fantastic opportunity for any law firm to offer music law. It's very a niche market. It's almost like the market. It's such a niche topic that there's only a few firms, mainly in London, Manchester, the cool cities, Leeds and Liverpool, who'll have these...
And now the Isle of Wight.
Who'll have the experience to do it. And they're all very good, and they all know what they're talking about. And of course, the record companies, they'll have their own in-house. So, the bog standard provincial solicitor, I include me on that, there are no expertise. And so we have the expertise. I've got a master's in copyright from 20 years ago. I've taught at the Guildford School of Music. I've taught at the University of Southampton for 20 years. We love music, and we've got thousands upon thousands of potential and clients who get in touch with us.
You say the University of Southampton, be specific, there's two.
Solent, there used to be the old Polytechnic.
That's it, yeah.
You didn't need A-levels to get in if you knew where it was.
Yeah.
That pretty much was the tick that box.
So you had the expertise to deal with all of this. Now you needed the door to start being knocked or the phone to be picked up. Why should people phone us to discuss these matters. Am I right in my understanding that the very basic principles, certainly when it comes to contracts, are available online and in some cases actually don't cost any money? So what would people be bringing us up for to have a discussion?
Well, look, if you are listening to this, then and you are in a band, or you're thinking about starting a band or creating something creative in terms of music or art, you're obviously creating something which is hopefully unique and hopefully will make you money, and don't necessarily...
It's your baby, isn't it? You want to, protect your baby, don't you?
So why not reach out to someone who can help with that? You wouldn't necessarily, if you're using the baby analogy, you're not going to do the whole shebang, from inception to birth yourself. You're going to get a few people to help you along the way.
Yeah.
And it's important that you get that. So that's what we try and do. So we got in touch with the PRS, and we offer half an hour free advice, and then all hourly rates are down to £95, I think. I'm charged at £125, and we do that because most of the artists don't have the type of funds that we can usually charge. I mean, my hourly rate for the years I'm qualified, I think I'd be able to charge £275, £295 for Southampton. So £125 is trainee rate, and it's probably a third of what the city lawyers are charging. I need to stress, not criticism of any of those guys and girls. They're very, very good at what they do. But what we're aiming for is to give some form of, I don't want to use cliche like one-stop shop and all that nonsense, but the ability for an artist to contact us, ask for documents. That's the main thing. We've got lots of legal precedents. Now, what is a legal precedent? A legal precedent is a document which has been created by us, which includes all the relevant clauses and which can be bespoke and can be drafted to suit you. So we've got lots of those, from management agreements to record producers agreements to band agreements to copyright licenses.
So the world's your oyster then, and you say about agreements. I think that we've already hit the point there, that it's all well and good thinking that you can find certain agreements online, but knowing which agreements that are required or the level of detail that needs to be included in it is where your brain and my brain would come into it.
We've got to keep it simple. The whole point of this exercise is to keep it simple. And everyone's listening to this, keep it simple. Statistics show that you're highly likely not to make it. You're highly likely not to have a good living. You're highly likely not to have a hit record. However, if you do make it, if you do make a living, and if you do have a hit record, then you need to be able to say, I need to speak to someone. I need to pick the phone up and reach out to them. And so by affording the hourly rates at £125, 2 or 3 contracts can cost you £200-300. That's the way we think up-and-coming bands ought to take the approach.
There's affordability and being able to say that if we're keeping things simple, come and see us and have that chat. You might find that we can guide you and point you in the right direction, or certainly draft for you.
Because it is complicated, because it isn't straightforward, because you've got issues like the masters, you have issues like 360 contracts, you have publishing. Publishing is really, it can be quite complicated. So you have different aspects of copyright. You have the sound recordings, you have the performance, you have the song itself. Then you have what happens if there's 7 or 8 of you. Christ, Earth, Wind and Fire, how do they work out the copyright? When there was about 7,000 of them. So there are different legal concerns that everybody will have, and Lawdit Music is there in order for us to build up a significant database of talented clients who are going to make it big. And so that's where we want to be. We want to be the legal trampoline that you come and jump on us and you go flying up to the moon.
I think what's important as well is that we get an awful lot of
cringy, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was a little bit, but I liked it. But I think it's also important to remember something though, that it's not always about making it big, and a lot of calls that we get are session musicians or people within the industry that need support on a on the mid level.
They're making a good living.
Absolutely, and they just need to have that support there. That's that's not necessarily available to them in an affordable sense.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to a guy the other day who's making 300,000-400,000 a year from his royalties, but very niche, very jazz, worldwide. And he was leaving the band, and they had no agreements in place. So you don't have to be U2. You don't have to be Noel. I mean, Noel Gallagher, not Noel Edmonds. You don't have to be. You don't have to be these people, because likelihood we're never going to act for these people. We're never going to speak to them. So our level's going to be from the grassroots growing up.
Of course. That trampoline was good.
We've still got clients who are making a fantastic living. I've got 2 or 3 well-known stars on the books. And dealing with their publishing and their taxation also raises other issues. So we've got the low end and the high end. But this podcast is reaching out to all those at the low end who are starting out, who are going places, and also to any managers or any producers who feel that you want an alternative approach to how your artists are looked at.
Yeah.
So, for example, you'll be aware that you'll have to obviously instruct your artist to take independent legal advice. So we'd be that firm that you'd recommend.
Yeah.
And that works well too. So there's 3 of us, myself, Sana, Mark involved, and I've also the support staff of Fatima as well, and Owen, and it's all interchangeable. So at some point there's at least 3, 4, 5 of us all working on this. I had the Lawdit music team with direct support from Sana. So please read this.
Yeah, pick up the phone. We'd love to speak to you. We just find music interesting in itself anyway. So even if we can't help you legally, it'll be nice to have a chat. So, okay, thanks, Michael. That was very useful. I appreciate that. And if you've got any more questions, pick up the phone. Thanks all. Take care.